There comes a moment in life, often quietly, when we start to wonder, if the years slow us down, should we move in with our adult children to feel safer, to feel cared for, to stay connected? That sounds natural, even comforting. After all, what could be more reassuring than being surrounded by family? Yet beneath that warm idea, hidden from the surface, lie quiet risks that many never see coming until it's too late. Today, I invite you to walk with me, not through fear, but through wisdom. Elder wisdom that understands life after 70 is not just about survival, it's about dignity, emotional independence, and healthy aging. We'll uncover how moving in with adult children after retirement, even when done with love, can slowly and silently chip away at the foundation of who you are, your space, your voice, your purpose, your peace. If you've ever found yourself pondering these decisions, or if you simply want to protect the independence you've spent a lifetime building, you're in the right place. Stay with me, because what we're about to discuss could change how you see your future. Please consider subscribing and sharing your story in the comments by writing the number 1. Your journey, your reflections, might just be the light someone else is searching for. Sometimes what we surrender is not taken from us all at once, but fades quietly, one small piece at a time, until we wake up and realize something sacred has been lost. When you move in with your adult children, it often begins with love, with practicality, with the shared hope that family will make the journey of aging easier. At first, it seems simple enough: a room of your own, a place at their table, a home filled with familiar laughter. But slowly, almost imperceptibly, the small freedoms that made life truly yours begin to slip through your fingers. In your own home, every object, every morning ritual, every sound belongs to the rhythm you created over a lifetime. You choose when to open the blinds, whether the house should be filled with quiet or music, whether the afternoon smells of fresh coffee or the earthy scent of an old book. These are not luxuries, they are tiny acts of independence, the invisible scaffolding of dignity. When you move into someone else's home, even with open arms welcoming you, you begin living inside their rhythm, not your own. At first, you may hardly notice the changes. You might tell yourself it doesn't matter that you wait until later to brew your morning coffee because the household is still asleep. You shrug off the small hesitation you feel before reaching for a particular mug that isn't quite yours. You sit in a favorite chair, but wonder quietly whether you are in someone's way. These are not loud moments of conflict. They are soft, persistent whispers that slowly question your place, your ownership of your own day, your sense of belonging. Over time, these tiny shifts gather weight. You might find yourself asking permission for simple things, adjusting the thermostat, turning on the television, rearranging a shelf to better suit your needs. And though no one may ever deny you these small requests, the act of asking chips away at something essential, the sense that your life is still truly your own to shape. You begin to second-guess your presence, softening your needs, shrinking your habits, careful not to disrupt the household that is no longer structured around you. The loss of personal space is not about square footage. It is about sovereignty. It is about the quiet dignity of deciding when to rise, what to touch, how to move through a room without feeling like a visitor. Elder wisdom teaches us that aging gracefully is not merely about adapting to change, but about knowing which parts of yourself are too vital to surrender. Without a personal space, even a small corner of the world to call your own, the boundaries that protect your identity begin to dissolve. You may find that days blend into each other without the familiar anchor points that once grounded you. Morning routines replaced by someone else's schedule. Evening reflections lost in the background noise of a busy home. It's not that anyone means to take these things from you. It's that shared space often demands silent compromises. Compromises that over time make your voice quieter, your spirit more hesitant, your needs less visible even to yourself. Holding on to personal space is not selfishness. It is an act of healthy aging, a recognition that even in the tender exchange of love and care, you are still a full person with your own rhythms, your own dignity, your own quiet sovereignty that must not be forgotten. As we gently leave behind the loss of personal space, there is another, more delicate thread we must follow, one that tugs not at where we live, but at who we are within the lives of those we love. When you move in with your adult children, it is easy to believe that the bond you share will remain untouched, that the respect built over a lifetime will stand strong against the winds of change. Yet time and daily life have a way of reshaping things so subtly that we hardly notice until we find ourselves standing outside the circle we once helped create. In the quiet rhythms of a household not your own, decisions start to unfold without your voice at the table. Vacation plans are made over breakfast conversations you were never part of. Groceries appear and disappear from shelves you no longer organize. Even the tender moments of family discipline, once places where your steady hand and elder wisdom were sought, now happen in ways you only witness, not guide. It is not that your children mean to leave you out, nor that they have forgotten the depth of your experience. It is simply the pace of modern life, the urgency of their own responsibilities, and the comfort of falling into their established routines. Still, in those small omissions, a deeper truth emerges. The shift from leader to observer is not loud or cruel. It is quiet, but it carries weight. It brushes against your dignity, asking in whispered tones whether your presence is needed or merely accommodated. When you were once the one others turned to for answers, you may now find yourself being updated after decisions are already made. And though you may smile and nod, understanding that life must go on, there is a part of you, soft but persistent, that aches to be seen as essential again. It is a complicated sorrow, because it does not come from malice but from evolution, the natural passage of time where the young grow strong, and the elders, sometimes without anyone realizing it, are asked to step quietly aside. Yet stepping aside should not mean becoming invisible. It should not mean surrendering the authority of your own wisdom, hard-earned through decades of living, loving, and learning. In life after 70, elder insights are not less valuable. They are more vital than ever. Families thrive when they are rooted in the strength and resilience of those who came before. Your voice, your perspective, your understanding of the world, even as it changes, are irreplaceable parts of the family's foundation. When those things are quietly set aside, everyone loses something precious, not just you, but the generations that follow. As we walk this road together, it is important to remember, maintaining independence after moving in with family is not about resisting change, but about protecting the roles that define your place in the story. Love does not ask you to disappear. True love invites your wisdom to remain at the heart of the home, where it belongs. As we move forward, there is another truth that often hides itself deep within the heart, difficult to name yet impossible to ignore, the slow, quiet habit of silencing ourselves in the name of love. When you move in with your adult children, no matter how warm and welcoming they are, a new awareness settles in your chest, the fear of becoming a burden. It does not roar loudly. It whispers in small moments, in the pauses before you speak, in the decisions you make to just endure rather than ask for help. In the early days, it felt natural to hold back a complaint or to wait before mentioning a need. After all, you see how busy they are, the work calls, the school runs, the endless rush that fills their modern lives. And so you tell yourself it is kindness to stay quiet, strength to manage alone. The room feels too cold at night, but you simply reach for another blanket. Your back aches from an unfamiliar mattress, but you shrug it off, promising yourself you'll adjust. Even loneliness, that old familiar ache, is tucked away behind a polite smile because you don't want to interrupt their rhythm or weigh them down with the heavy parts of your own days. Yet, with each silence, something precious erodes. The habit of swallowing your needs teaches you, almost without your awareness, that your comfort matters less, that your voice is less important, that your feelings should be small, invisible, and easy to ignore. Over time, the vibrant self who once spoke freely, who once lived openly, becomes quieter, smaller, wrapped in layers of unspoken sacrifices. You may even begin to forget what it felt like to speak without apology, to ask for what you needed without carrying a heavy guilt inside. This is not how elder wisdom was meant to live. Aging gracefully does not mean disappearing gracefully. Real strength after 70 lies not in the erasure of needs, but in the quiet courage to honor them, to claim your place, to remember that needing care does not make you less worthy of dignity. It is not weakness to say, "I need a warmer blanket," or "I miss having someone to talk to over morning coffee." These small truths, spoken without shame, are threads that weave connection back into the fabric of daily life. If we are not careful, self-silencing becomes its own kind of loneliness, a deeper kind because it is chosen, though not freely. It builds walls that no one else can see, walls that keep your heart just out of reach even for those who love you most. And while you stay silent to protect them, they lose the chance to truly know you, to truly care for you, to share in your life in a way that matters. As we continue this journey, let us remember, protecting your emotional independence is not selfish. It is an act of love, both for yourself and for the family who still needs the full, living, breathing presence of who you truly are. As we continue this path of quiet reflections, there is another shift that often goes unnoticed until it feels too heavy to bear. The slow fading of purpose. The gentle slipping away of the roles that once gave our days meaning. When you move in with your adult children, it is easy to believe that the heart of your contribution to family life will remain unchanged. After all, you bring decades of wisdom, steady hands, and countless little rituals that once held a household together. Yet in the rush to care for you, your family may unintentionally take away the very tasks and decisions that once made you feel essential. At first, it can feel like a blessing. You are told to rest, to take it easy, to enjoy the quiet life you have earned. No more worrying about groceries, no more fixing what is broken, no more planning family dinners. You are invited to sit back and be cared for, and part of you accepts it gladly, feeling the weight of so many years of responsibility lifting from your shoulders. But over time, as the empty hours stretch longer and the familiar routines fall away, another feeling begins to grow, a hollow ache where your sense of usefulness used to live. Without the small daily acts of giving, advising, deciding, and nurturing, life after 70 can start to feel curiously weightless, like you are floating through someone else's story instead of writing your own. The truth is, no matter how many birthdays we have celebrated, the human heart does not outgrow its need to matter. Elder wisdom, accumulated through a lifetime of quiet triumphs and hard-earned lessons, remains a wellspring of value, not just for ourselves, but for those around us. Yet when our roles shrink into the margins, when we are no longer called upon to solve, to guide, to contribute, it can feel as if we have been gently placed on a shelf, admired but no longer needed. And the ache that follows is not vanity or stubbornness, it is a very real hunger for purpose, as vital to the soul as breath is to the body. Purpose is not about grand gestures or monumental achievements. It lives in the small things, setting the table just so, nurturing a garden, listening deeply to a grandchild's worries, or offering a word of calm when a storm of stress brews in the household. When these everyday contributions are brushed aside in an effort to shield you from effort or worry, something vital dims inside. Aging gracefully demands more than simply staying healthy. It requires staying meaningfully engaged with life in ways big and small, seen and unseen. As we move closer to the heart of this conversation, let us hold on to this quiet truth. Your role within the family is not a relic of the past. It is a living thread that weaves strength, stability, and wisdom into every room you enter. Protecting your independence also means protecting your purpose, because to be needed, to be counted upon, is not just a gift to others. It is the heartbeat of a life still fully alive. As we travel deeper into these quiet realities, there is one final weight we must gently name. The kind of loneliness that does not come from being alone, but from feeling unseen, even in a house full of people. When you move in with your adult children, you might expect that physical closeness will naturally bring emotional closeness too. After all, sharing meals, hearing laughter in the halls, seeing family faces each morning, these should be the things that protect us from isolation. But life today moves at a pace that often leaves no time for lingering, for real listening. for the kind of slow, soul-deep conversation that older hearts long for. The days rush forward. Phones buzz constantly. Work deadlines loom. Children dash from one activity to another, their energy a whirl of bright noise. And somewhere amid that rush, your voice, steady, reflective, full of elder wisdom, begins to feel out of step with the rhythm around you. You may start to share a story from your younger days, only to realize halfway through that no one is truly listening. You may offer a thought during a family discussion, only to watch it float away unnoticed in the sea of quicker, younger voices. It isn't intentional cruelty. It's simply that their world runs on speed and efficiency, while your world, shaped by a lifetime of patience and careful reflection, moves differently now. In time, you might find yourself speaking less, not because you have nothing to say, but because you grow tired of trying to fit your thoughts into a space too narrow, too hurried to receive them. The loss is slow but steady. Emotional isolation settles in, not as a dramatic event, but as a quiet erosion of shared meaning. You can be sitting in the middle of a living room filled with family and still feel as if you are standing alone on a distant shore, waving at people who no longer see you clearly. This feeling, this tender grief of being disconnected while surrounded by life, is one of the most painful parts of losing independence after moving in. Healthy aging is not just about protecting the body, it is also about protecting the heart's need for connection, understanding, and belonging. Aging gracefully means honoring that need, even when the world around you seems too busy to notice. It means finding small ways to bridge the widening gap, reaching out for a moment of true conversation, creating space for memories to be shared, refusing to let your stories gather dust in silence. As we near the end of this reflection, let us hold close to this truth. Your voice, your memories, your wisdom are treasures, not relics. They are bridges between generations, not burdens. Staying emotionally connected is not a gift you ask for. It is a gift you continue to offer, simply by being fully present, by continuing to share the life inside you, even when the world forgets to slow down and listen. As we close this quiet but important conversation, I hope you feel the strength behind these gentle truths. Moving in with your adult children after 70 may offer comfort and care, but without careful thought, it can slowly erode the independence, dignity, and purpose that make life rich and meaningful. Aging gracefully is not just about adapting to new surroundings. It is about holding on to the rhythms, the choices, and the elder wisdom that have shaped your spirit. If any part of today's reflection touched your heart or reminded you of your own journey, I warmly invite you to share your story in the comments below. Your voice, your memories, your lessons are precious, not only to you but to all of us who are still learning what it means to live fully after 70. Thank you for spending this time together, and remember, healthy aging begins inside with the quiet but powerful choice to remain visible, valued, and vibrantly yourself.